The fog clung to the streets of Seattle like an old regret that morning, the kind that seeps into your bones and makes every breath feel heavier. I was driving my beat-up Subaru to the community center where I volunteered, teaching art classes to kids from broken homes. Ironic, now that I think about it. The radio droned on about local traffic, but my mind was elsewhere, tangled in the web of silence that had grown between my sister and me since Dad's death. We'd been close once. Or so I told myself. But grief has a way of revealing cracks you never knew were there. I adjusted the mirror, caught a glimpse of my tired eyes. And that's when it hit, literally. A pickup truck barreled through the red light, smashing into my driver's side with a force that twisted metal and time itself. The world spun in shards of glass and pain, my body jerking like a puppet cut loose. Then, nothing but that eerie quiet, the kind that whispers you're alone. When my eyes fluttered open, the hospital lights buzzed overhead like angry bees, cold and impersonal. A doctor was shining a flashlight in my pupils, asking my name through the haze. Emily Carter, I mumbled, tasting blood on my tongue. My right arm throbbed, immobilized in a temporary cast, and my ribs screamed with every shallow breath. "We need an emergency contact," the nurse said, her voice efficient but kind. My phone was shattered, but I remembered one number, my brother-in-law's. Michael Hayes. He'd married my sister, Sarah, right as Dad's cancer took hold. And though we weren't tight, he'd always played the part of the reliable guy, the one who showed up for barbecues and fixed leaky faucets. "Call him," I croaked. They did. Minutes stretched into an eternity until the nurse returned, her expression a mix of pity and discomfort. "He replied," she said softly. "Just got it. Nothing else." I stared at her, the word echoing in my skull like a slammed door. Got it? Like I was a grocery list item, not family bleeding in a bed. The numbness set in then, deeper than the bruises blooming across my skin. I texted Sarah directly from a borrowed phone. Car accident. Harborview Medical. Broken arm. Possible internal injuries. Need help. Her response? Nothing. Not a call. Not a question. Just digital void. In that sterile room, surrounded by the beep of monitors and the shuffle of feet, the betrayal sank its teeth in. Family was supposed to be the safety net, but mine had cut the ropes long ago. I thought of Dad's final days, how Sarah had hovered, managing his meds and visitors, while I sat by his bed holding his hand, whispering stories from our childhood. He'd left the house to us both, or so she claimed. But now, in this moment of raw vulnerability, their absence screamed louder than any explanation. I didn't cry. Instead, a quiet fury ignited, slow burning like embers under ash. If they wouldn't come for me broken, they didn't deserve me whole. Discharged hours later with a sling and painkillers, I called a lift ironic, relying on a stranger when bloodkin ghosted you. The driver, a middle-aged woman named Carla, chatted about the rain as if sensing my storm. "Rough day?" she asked, glancing at my bandaged arm. "You could say that," I replied, voice flat. Her phone rang on speaker, hands-free. She said apologetically, "Hey, it's me," a voice crackled through, familiar enough to freeze my blood. "Sarah. She's okay?" Damn. That throws a wrench in everything. Carla hit mute, flustered. "Sorry. Wrong call." But it wasn't. Sarah hadn't known I was listening, which meant she wasn't worried about me surviving, she was annoyed by it. The words looped in my head, carving deeper with each replay. They weren't just indifferent, they were plotting around my potential grave. I screenshot the ride details, noted the timestamp. Proof wasn't revenge yet, but it was a weapon sharpening in the dark. Back in my cramped apartment overlooking the Puget Sound, the silence hit like a wave. Everything looked the same, the mismatched mugs, the faded quilt Dad had given me, but I felt fractured. I sank onto the couch, scrolling through old messages, my unanswered invites to holidays, Sarah's curt replies to my updates on Dad's health. Patterns emerged. Ugly and undeniable. I'd been the afterthought. The one they tolerated but never included. Digging through a box labeled Dad's keepsakes that Sarah had dumped on me like trash, I found it. A sealed envelope in his handwriting. For Emily. If things go sideways. Inside, a notarized will from 3 years before his death, leaving the family home in Tacoma entirely to me. No splits. No conditions, just his quiet trust. My hands shook as I compared it to the official version Sarah had shown after the funeral. The one that conveniently divided everything her way. Forgery? The thought twisted like a knife. But the mismatched signatures confirmed it. They'd erased me from his legacy while I grieved. The rage built slowly. A pressure cooker without a valve. I scanned the will, uploaded it to a secure drive, and emailed a copy to myself with timestamps. Then, I messaged Michael, found Dad's real will. We need to talk. His reply came fast. Thought you'd let this go. Emotional stuff clouds judgment. No denial. Just deflection. It fueled me. I wasn't acting out of spite, this was survival. Reclaiming what betrayal had stolen. I contacted Laura Jenkins, an old college friend turned estate lawyer. Her voice steady on the line. This smells like fraud. Let's build your case quietly. We met at a dimly lit coffee shop, poring over documents. She drafted a demand letter. Clinical and cutting, rectify the deed or face litigation. All evidence public. Sending it felt like exhaling poison I'd held too long. Their response? A family meeting invite. Staged like an intervention. I arrived at Sarah's upscale condo in Bellevue. Envelopes in my bag, copies for each attendee, aunts. A cousin. Michael looming like a guard dog. They sat in a semicircle. Sarah at the helm. Her smile plastic. We're family, she cooed. No need for drama. I laid out the will. The forgeries. The overheard call. The room tensed. One aunt muttering. She always said Emily was too fragile for the house. Sarah's eyes flashed. But Michael jumped in. It's just property. Let it go. I didn't. It's Dad's wish, I said. Voice steady despite the storm inside. You stole it because you could. I distributed the envelopes, watching their faces pale. Walking out, I felt the shift, not triumph, but resolve. The cost of their silence? My trust. Shattered forever. Days blurred into evidence-gathering marathons. Laura uncovered the notary's ties to Michael, a sloppy trail of favors and backroom deals. I revisited Dad's old neighbors. One elderly man handing me a recorded conversation. Your dad told me straight, Emily gets the house. The others? They'd flip it for cash. Each piece slotted into place. Building a fortress against their lies. Sarah called once. Voice cracking. This is tearing us apart. You started the rip, I replied. Hanging up. The pain wasn't just emotional, it was physical. Nights spent awake. Ribs aching from the crash. Mind replaying every slight. But vulnerability bred strength. I filed the suit. The courtroom a battlefield where silence became testimony. The hearing unfolded like a slow unraveling. Laura presented the will. The mismatched signatures. Witness statements. Sarah and Michael sat rigid. Their lawyers sputtering objections. Then, unexpectedly, our cousin stood. I saw Sarah pressure the notary. It wasn't right. The judge's gavel fell. Deed invalidated. Property to MS. Carter. Penalties for fraud. Outside. Sarah approached. Tears streaming. Why couldn't you just forgive? Because forgiveness without truth is another betrayal, I said. Walking away. The victory tasted bitter. The house was mine. But the family illusion lay in ruins. In the end, I didn't keep it. I donated the home to a shelter for abused women. A place where silence broke into stories of rebuilding. Sarah's final text, "You're destroying everything." I didn't reply. Standing at Dad's grave. The new inscription reading, "To the daughter who remembered," I whispered. I paid the price. But so did they. Freedom came not in vengeance's fire, but in the quiet after the storm alone. But finally whole.